Hey Paint Tribers, we're going to paint a Mardi Gras door hanger tonight. So come join me, and this is what we're going to be doing. Well, let's see if I can get in the right position. So I went ahead and painted the background yellow and did some polka dots on it. And I got these polka dot things. There they are. From Amazon the other day. And they are so awesome. They make polka dots so much easier. And so I did light yellow on the background, and I added some white to it to do the polka dots. And then I used my tracer that I did on Procreate to trace out the design, and I used carbon paper and just traced it, and it made the shape of all of our Mardi Gras beads and our mask and our fleur-de-lis. So let's paint. Here, let me see if I can move this camera so you can actually see what we're painting. Down more. Okay, there we go. So I think I'm going to start with my letters. I'm looking on my computer right now, so bear with me just a moment for my sample that I did in Procreate. It's an app you can get on for iPhones, and it just helps you draw things. It's pretty stinking cool, so that I can come up with stuff without having to paint it first and then go, oh yeah, I didn't like that, and then repaint it. So let's go with, we're going to start off with purple. This is a Deco Art Americana, and the paint color is, if I can get it in the right spot, purple pizzazz. It's like a violet color. I need a smaller brush for this. Ooh, that one looks like it'll work. So I just have a flat brush. It's got a square rectangular end to it. And I'm gonna wet my brush a little bit just so the paint flows a little better. And I'm going into my purple pizzazz, and we're gonna do our letters. So I have a paint party coming up in Milledgeville on the 10th, which is pretty exciting. It's going to be my first paint party in Milledgeville, and it's at Amici. And I don't know if you guys have eaten at Amici, but it's pretty good. So we're just going to fill in our letters and make sure that we kind of sort of stay in our lines. If we don't stay in the lines, it's not that big of a deal, because of course we don't make mistakes when we paint. They're just happy little accidents, and we will fix them with some other color or outlining or something like that. Anybody doing anything super exciting this evening? Be kind of awesome if I had some people in New Orleans or Louisiana taking a look at this while we're painting the Mardi Gras door hanger. I think I'm going to try my other brush that's a little bit bigger. See if I can get a little more coverage at one time, because some of these spots are a little chunkier than others. Little spots we use little brushes, and bigger spots we use bigger brushes. We've also got another paint party coming up in Macon with some St. Patrick's Day designs at Macon Beer Company, which of course we love going to Macon Beer Company. And we're downstairs when we go to Macon Beer Company, so we get the whole big downstairs room to ourselves, and we get to paint and cut up and have fun and listen to music, and that's really fun to do. Like I said, this is going to be our first time in Milledgeville at Amici, so we'll see how that turns out. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a good place. Like I said, their food's awesome, so I'm pretty excited about that part myself. And, you know, I was talking to a girl earlier today that she was like, you know, I want to go, but I don't know if I can find anybody to go with me. Paint parties are like, it doesn't matter if you've got anybody to go with you, because by the time it's over with, you're going to have a bunch of new friends anyway. So go by yourself. Make some new friends. New friends that you can hang out with that you know like to go painting, because that's where you met them at. And you know they're going to go again. And then you just got a bunch of girls that are always there. We've got a crew of a few girls that show up to most of the parties. And they seem to be making friends pretty good with one another and getting along. And so it doesn't matter. Come by yourself. Come with a bunch of girlfriends. We're going to have fun no matter what. Hey, Shauna. And the reason I went ahead and did the background on this one is because I feel like it's going to take a decent amount of time to do this one anyway. And you know, my lives tend to be a little long, so I figured we'd shorten it a little bit by me starting the process off camera so that there wasn't quite so much. Maybe it wouldn't be nearly as long. The last one I think was an hour, but y'all stuck it out with me. So I just grabbed a tiny liner brush to use in those little tiny spots that, like this A right here, comes around into a little curve, and it just gives me a little more control with the smaller brush to get into those little corners and crevices. So I will be super glad when it starts to finally warm up again. I'm not really a huge fan of this cold weather we seem to be having. Although I know I can't complain because a lot of other places are way colder, but I live in the South for a reason. I don't like the cold. I find painting very relaxing, even when we're in a place like Macon Beer or Amici where we're having fun and we're cutting up. It's still extremely relaxing to just watch the paint go on the canvas or on the board and see how it turns out and just kind of go with the flow. But you know, I'm a old Bob Ross girl, so I'm pretty easygoing, and I like to just flow with the paint and enjoy the way it looks and see how it flows on the canvas or the board. Anybody else find painting super relaxing? I've also been thinking about doing some different things at the paint parties. So if anybody's got anything that they've seen recently that they really want to create or do, just send me a message or comment on the video and say, hey, I want to do a porch leaner, or hey, I want to do a keychain holder, or whatever's floating your boat, and we'll see what we can do about getting into it. I'm thinking about doing some ceramics. I think those would be really cool. I found a tiki that I really like. I don't think I want to do because I like tikis, but who knows, maybe I'm the only one. Ooh, and a cactus. I found a cactus I liked too. That was a ceramic. I'm also gonna offer the tracer as a download, so if anybody's interested in it, it's free. Just let me know. Comment link in the comments, and I will send you the link to get the download. And then you can create your own Mardi Gras porch door hanger, or you can just paint it on a canvas. Just trace it out with some carbon paper, like I did the design on top of the yellow color. I just used carbon paper to trace that from my tracer that I have here. And you could just trace this on a canvas and paint it on a canvas board or a piece of wood, or you could cut it out like this is. They're very versatile. So yeah, if you want a copy of the tracer for this, just comment link in the comments, and I will go back after the video is over and send everybody a link for the downloadable tracer so that you can do one of these at home all by yourself or with friends, or you can replay this video and do it with me. I think I need more paint. And this purple might actually need a second coat. We might be here for an hour after all. Good thing I painted the background without y'all, because we're in it for the long haul. I know some people do hand lettering, but I'm so glad for tracers and stencils, because there's no way I'd ever be able to do hand lettering. If anybody watching does hand lettering, let me know, because I might need to learn how to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and start painting some of these beads while I'm up here, so I don't have to put my hand back in my wet paint once I get out of this row. I'm just going to start painting some of these little beads up here. And for circles, I just basically do like a parentheses shape. So it's open parentheses, close parentheses, or a C and a backwards C, and just fill it in. Anybody ever go to a Mardi Gras parade? I've been to a couple, but those of you who know me know that I lived in Louisiana until I was 15. So, yeah, Mardi Gras is kind of near and dear to my heart. Oh, I know what I want to show y'all. So the last live I did, one of our painters and friends and co-worker, I guess former co-worker, she was watching and she had said that she had something for me. And I saw her the other day because I dropped off a paint kit to her. And she gave me a prize. And it's an awesome prize. And he's going to hang out here in my painting area forever and ever. Amen. He is Bob Ross. He's so awesome. He's going to paint with me. I think I'll sit him right here so he can watch me paint and give me support and good vibes. And again, I'm just switching back and forth between my medium brush and my little liner brush so that I can get into the smaller shapes a little better. But I don't want to paint the whole thing with the liner brush because then that would take forever. In some of these areas where I have that lighter yellow polka dot, I'm seeing that I might need a second coat of this purple, but that's okay. And then sometimes I just like to wet my brush a little bit. It helps the paint spread a little easier. If you feel like your paint's getting a little dry or it's not flowing across your wood or your canvas or whatever you're painting on, you just wet your brush a little bit, add some more paint to it, and spread away. I might have to do most of this G with the liner brush. It gets kind of skinny in a few spots. If you're watching and you've painted with us at a paint party in Macon or Gray, or even back in the day when I was doing this before as Whimsy and Wine, if you've painted with us before, let me know. I'd like to reconnect. Or even better, if you've painted with us before, post a picture of what you've painted with me. That would be fun. I like to reminisce and look through some of the old pictures of our awesome paint parties we've had. And like I said before, we're trying to kind of stay in the lines, but if we go out, it's not the end of the world. We don't really make mistakes in painting. We just have our little happy accidents, like Bob Ross would say. See, he's saying, happy accidents, it's okay. And yeah, I'm really enjoying these things. Like, I've seen people use the little polka dotters for polka dots before. And I was like, oh, you don't need polka dotters. Polka dot. Oh, I think so. I'm really loving those things. It's a little learning curve because it's just different than what I'm used to, but it definitely did the job and effectively. And it didn't take forever, which is normally what happens with polka dots. They take forever. And now we did have one girl at the one paint party that she used the cups that I hand out paint in. The little like ramekins like you get dip at the restaurant in. And she used that to trace it out, all her little circles. And her circles turned out perfectly. I never even thought of that. So right now, again, we're just filling in our letters and doing some of the beads that go around. Trying to do the top beads. Since I've got the purple out, go ahead and get some of them done, so I don't have to stick my hand back in my purple paint, which I'm kind of struggling with right now. Go ahead and get these ones towards the top out of the way. And circles are pretty easy. I just do like a C shape and then a backward C shape, or a parenthesis, open parentheses, close parentheses. That's the basic shape to get a circle. You're not going to try and actually paint a circle. You just paint little shapes until it turns into a circle. And you got to even it out a little bit. It always turns out a little wonky in the beginning, like one side will be bigger than the other. But that's okay. You can just go back in and even it out again. Aw, thank you. Somebody sent me a heart. Y'all are so nice. So if you come on and you're watching, why don't you let me know where you're watching from? Are you here in Georgia? Are you somewhere else? What part of Georgia are you from? Say hi. Say, hey, I'm watching from over here in Milledgeville or Gray or wherever you're watching from, because I'd like to know. Ooh, getting in this little tiny spot on this A. It's tight, but this little brush is moving the paint in the right directions. Ooh, I did it, and I didn't even go out of the lines. Them little tight spots like that are hard. And then it looks like some of the stuff up here is drying, so I'm just going to easy put a couple of little splashes over it where it's starting to dry and I can still see that yellow through it. I'm going to add some highlights to it later so you won't be able to tell quite as much where the yellow is still peeking through, but I want it to be a little solid and nice and filled in looking. I don't want it to be too splotchy. Can't cover everything up with highlights. Well, except for grays, you can cover those up with highlights. Trust. Does anybody here actually decorate for Mardi Gras? Anybody put up a Mardi Gras wreath? Or I know in New Orleans, Louisiana area, you just change the Christmas tree to a Mardi Gras tree. Take down the Christmas decorations, put up some purple, green, and gold, and go on about it. Gwenny! Hey, Gwenny. I just saw that you popped on. When you pop on, if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. What state you're in. Is it cold there? It's about as cold as I can tolerate it here. I think it's like, I don't know, 47 or something. It's probably not even too bad, but I'm a wuss when it comes to that, so it's too cold for me. Well, it's starting to come together. Getting some letters painted on here. We're gonna have a Mardi Gras door hanger before we know it. Anybody have any exciting plans for this weekend? I know my weekend's just going to be full of cutting wood for our party next week. So, getting prepared for that. I'm super excited. I can't wait to go out to Milledgeville. I lived in Milledgeville for a while when Mama and I were much, much younger. And we really liked Milledgeville, but it's been a long time since I've spent any time out there. I have had the opportunity to eat at Amici a few times, and whew, like I said, that's part of the biggest reason I'm glad for Wednesday coming up is Amici's food. But we are definitely going to have us a good time painting some Valentine's trucks and some Georgia Loves. So I'll be cutting some wood this weekend, getting prepared for that. I'm just switching back and forth between my tiny liner brush and my small flat brush, getting in all the little nooks and crannies on these curvy letters. Trying my darndest to stay in the lines, but like I was saying before, it doesn't matter if you get out of the line a little bit. We fix that with a little paint here and a little paint there and some outlines, and it'll just all be okay. Because painting's not about being perfect, it's about the experience and enjoying it. And you know, you can make something pretty that's not perfect. Well, that's all of those letters. Get some more of these beads down here. Some of these little beads I'm going to definitely have to use the liner brush because they're underneath things. So you only see like a half a bead right here. So I'm just going to use my little liner brush and fill in my holes. I haven't painted this one before. I just did it in Procreate, the drawing app. I like using that to come up with some designs, because then if I feel like I messed it up, I at least didn't mess it up on a canvas or a piece of wood and gotta paint it all white and start over. I can just hit erase and start over. So this is the first time painting this one, and I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out. I'm liking it so far. And again, if anybody's interested, I do have the tracer for this available for download. If you're interested, just leave a comment in the comments link, and I will send you a link to the download after the video is over with. Or later, even if you're watching it tomorrow or the next day. So I'm just going back over a couple of little spots that looked a little thin, like you can still see a lot of the yellow, especially where the polka dots are peeking through. Just kind of giving it a little better coverage. I've got my computer out. I want to pull up my picture where I did it in Procreate so that I can remember what colors I put where. And get out a little more purple. purple. I'm gonna get some white, and this is a Deco Art Americana as well, and it is in Snow White or Titanium. And I am just gonna mix up a little light purple, so I'm just gonna put that purple pizzazz that we were using and a little bit of white and make kind of a lighter lavendery, just a little shade or two lighter than what we've been painting with. And then I'm gonna do this one side of the fleur-de-lis in this lighty lavendery color. And again, this color is just a little bit of the same purple that we were using and some white added to it. I need my handy dandy little liner brush again to get in this little crevice corner pointy spot. There we go, perfect. Same thing with this other little crevice. I'm gonna get my liner brush and go in that little corner there so I get it nice and sharp. And I think I'm going to use a similar color, but I'm going to put just a tiny bit more of this darker purple in it. So I have like another variation of the same purple. And I'm going to do this feather on the mask. I'm going to do this middle feather purple. Get my little liner brush back out again, so I can get all my little pointy spots in this feather nice and sharp. Oh, y'all can't even see my feather, can you? Let me see if I can turn this camera down just a little bit, so y'all can see my feather better. And since this is so tiny, I think I'm just going to do the whole thing with this little liner brush, just so I make sure I get nice pointy edges on the tips of my little feather pieces here. And then that feather's just kind of gonna come down here and end into the top of that mask. All right, and now that I got all that there, I can kind of fill it in with my bigger brush, just making sure that I got my edges nice and sharp. green. And this is folk art paint, and it is called, it doesn't have a color. It's called green. It's kind of a hunter green or a forest green. But I think once it gets thinned out on this canvas, it's going to turn more of a, like a Kelly green. So again, I'm just going to wet my brush and go in here and kind of swirl it around so I get a little bit of dampness in that brush. It just helps the paint move around a lot better. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I outline my feather, and then I'll fill it in once I get it outlined, just so I make sure my shapes stay a little sharp. And then when I use my liner brush, if you guys can see this, let me see if I can get it in the right position. All right, right here. I just kind of twirl it in the paint. See, I'm twisting it. And that way it pulls the paint and the paint bristles into like a point. So you get like a sharper edge that you can paint smaller lines with. Liner brushes don't hold a whole bunch of paint. So you put a little bit in and use, and then you got to pick a little bit more up. And every time I pick up with the liner brush, I just go back in and swirl it so that it pulls those bristles nice and tight next to each other. I got a little too much on it that time. And then, of course, I'm trying to be careful not to stick my hand over here in this fleur-de-lis because it's still a little wet. And now that I've got my outline in, so I make sure I get in all my little corners, I'm just going to come back and fill it in with that bigger brush. And I was also able to get like where it butts up against the purple. I was able to get in there with that liner brush, and that way I don't worry about getting green on top of my purple. I'm going to do the middle part of the fleur-de-lis in this same green color. And then I think we're going to add some white to the green and do some other stuff. Can you guys see that fleur-de-lis? Okay. Typically when I paint at home, I have music playing, but I can't really do that on a live because I don't own the copyrights to any music, so it's a little low-key right now, but music definitely makes it a bit more fun. And then, of course, if you're at a paint party, there's always that liquid courage, liquid talent that makes you not care that you're not the best painter in the world. And you talk to strangers and you make new friends and you have a good time and you paint really well because you're not worried about you not knowing what you're doing. Paint parties are so much fun because, you know, not everybody is the best painter in the world. I'm not the best painter in the world. But that doesn't mean we can't make something pretty. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean we can't enjoy ourselves. We can't enjoy the company of other people that enjoy doing the same things that we do. It's definitely a great escape from the week. Having a rough week, go to a paint party. Having a good week, go to a paint party. Either way, you're going to have fun. Or just sit at home and paint. You can always pull up this video and paint your own Mardi Gras door hanger or canvas or whatever makes you happy. Alright, I better get some of these green beads painted. I think we'll start here. So I'm going to try to do every other one like I did the purple. Skip and do the green one next to the purple. And again, like I was saying before, circles are pretty easy. They're just C's and backwards C's, or parentheses and open parentheses, close parentheses, shapes. Excuse me. Get this liner brush to get this little tiny guy here. He's kind of peeking out from behind the floor to lay, so we're going to use the littler brush to get to him. And just fill him in. And same thing with this little guy. He's kind of half poking out. I kind of wish Miss Angie would pop on so I could show her that the Bob Ross that she got me is painting with us tonight. He's chilling down here. Alright, so now I'm going to add a little bit of white to this green and lighten it up just a hair. Alrighty, and I'm going to paint the other feather on this mask, this lighter green color. just to give us a little depth and some different colors. But I basically want to stick with my purple, green, and gold from my Mardi Gras colors. Got a little too much paint on there. And lost one of my feathers. I want to make him come back. There he goes. Let's see him again. Turn this a little bit so I can get a better angle. All right, it's starting to come together. Ooh, I just got paint on my cup. Oh well, I got paint on everything I own. It's okay. I think I'm going to add a little bit more white to that same green and do the mask a light green. And I'm going to outline it like I did with the other things as soon as I get some of that paint off of there. And then that way I could just come back and fill it in with the bigger brush. I think there y'all can see that mask a little better. I don't know if you heard that ruckus, but that was my kitty Minucci over there being bad, trying to open the cabinets and stuff. It's kind of starting to look like something. That is one of the fun things about painting, is that when you first started out, it just looks like a blank canvas, and then you start and it looks like a hot mess, and then you keep going and you're like, hey, that actually kind of looks like a thing, and then it's done and you're like, hey, that looks like a thing, and it's not half bad. I know I've had a lot of girls that came to paint classes, paint parties before, and they were like, oh, I can't do this, I can't draw a stick figure, I don't think I'm gonna like this, and they're surprised with themselves and they have a good time. And so definitely, if it's nothing you've tried before, try it. Or if, you know, in this day and age you're not ready to get out and be super social, go to Michael's and get you one of those 5 packs of canvases and paint some random things. Get on Pinterest and find something that looks interesting and fun to you and make your own version of it. Yeah, it's a good thing I painted the background, because I think I'm already pushing an hour, and I was trying to make this one faster than the last few. I didn't achieve that goal. All right, so we're going to get some gold out. And this is another of the Deco Art Americana, and this is cadmium yellow. And I think it's going to be goldy enough. That's kind of its color. It doesn't look like it's the same as that. The background color, that's more of a like canary yellow. But we might end up adding a tiny bit of orange to it just to make it a little more goldy. I can find some orange real quick. That's not orange. Alright, this is some pumpkin-y orange. I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit of that to that yellow just to deepen it a little bit. See if I can get all the green out of my brush. I don't think I like it too much. It's too orangey, I think. I'm going to have to add some more yellow back to it. And I only added a drop. But that's the thing with mixing colors. Sometimes you just got to mix a little of this and a little of that. And then add a little of this back to it because you added too much of the other, until you get the right color that you like. Okay, I think I like that color. And we're going to do this for this other side of the floor. Oh yeah, that's turning out good on the back of there. Can you see that? And then of course I got to get my liner brush out so that I can get into the little corners of this fleur-de-lis. got that on there. I think I'm gonna do this plain cadmium yellow with a little bit of white for the beads. See if that stands out against the yellow back. Oh yeah. It's a little yellowier than I would like for it to be. I'd like for it to be nice and golden, but we're gonna make it gold. Get out my liner brush again so I can get in this little corner behind this mask and this feather. That's all our little beads. And then I think we're gonna come and do some outliney stuff now. So I'm gonna get some black, and this is a Deco Arts Americana paint too, and it is called a lamp black or ebony. I'm just going to use my liner brush, and I'm going to put a little water in it so that it makes my black paint a little soupy and runny. See here how it's just kind of soupy and runny so that it flows way easier. It's almost like ink. That way you can do some outlining stuff without messing anything up. And I'm just going to go along the base of this leaf feather. And I'm not going to fill the whole outline. I'm just going to make some accent outlines around the edge of the feather. And then like a big one down the center of it, because you know how feathers are. And outlines are one of those things that your painting kind of looks, oh, okay, maybe. And then you get the outline on it and it just makes everything pop and it brings the whole thing together. See well, if I can get it going in the right direction, the outline on the feathers really makes those feathers pop. It brings them out. And then we're going to do the same thing with our mask. And like I said, we're not really trying to outline the edge of it. We're just trying to make everything pop. I'm going to twist this a little bit so I can get a better angle on it. not stick my hand back in wet paint. And then I want to do like some frillies that are just off of the edge of here. Just to give it, I stuck my hand in that fleur-de-lis. And now I got paint on myself. Let's see if I can get it off of me so I don't get it. The biggest problem about doing that is not that I have paint on me, it's that I'm going to put my hand somewhere else and then I'm going to have a fleur-de-lis stamp on somewhere else on the painting from my hand. And then we're going to do the same thing with our letters. Pretty much everything gets an outline. And like I was saying, these outlines don't have to be perfect. They don't have to go all the way to the edge. They don't have to meet or connect. They're just there to make the letters pop, the pictures pop. I think I need a little more water. My soupy inkiness is kind of going away and it's not flowing as easily. See, I just stuck my finger in something and got it in there, but that's okay. And I always leave a finger down, pinky, ring finger, something that stabilizes me so that my hand doesn't go winky wonky while I'm trying to paint. And that's what I end up sticking in stuff, is that pinky. Mardi Gras words outlined. And my fleur-de-lis is still a little damp, so I'm gonna go ahead and outline my beads here. And I definitely want this nice and soupy for this. So I think I totally told y'all a story. I was gonna be short and sweet today, and I'm not. I appreciate you guys who have popped in and watched while we were live. And of course, if anybody wants to watch it again, feel free. Get you a paintbrush and some paint and paint with me. Decide if I want to hang this on my door or if I want to give it away as a prize at one of the paint parties, because I do that sometimes. I always have prizes, but sometimes I give away prizes of things I've created or door hangers I've made. I'm kind of fond of this guy though. I might want to keep him. And now I'm going to come back and do my fleur-de-lis the same way. And now we just need to come back with some white and make all of this stuff pop. You can do a similar thing with the white that you did with the black as far as the soupiness. You just don't want it quite as soupy, because sometimes when the white gets watered down like that, it just doesn't show up as well. So I'm just going to I need a little less paint on my brush. Popping in a few places, throwing a few little highlights. Not as much as I did with the black, as far as like a whole outline. And then sometimes I like to throw a couple of polka dots in there, and I just use the back of the brush to make some polka dots. So that's definitely making the fleur-de-lis, my cup's in the way, the fleur-de-lis and the mask pop, having that white and black contrast in there. And I want to add a little bit of white pop on the beads, just a tiny, tiny bit, so that it looks like there's a little shininess to them. Uh-oh, I got orange and my white. All right, now back to my white again. Alrighty, guys. I think it turned out pretty decent. I might put a little more accent on it. But I'm going to let y'all go for the evening because I think I've been painting with y'all long enough. Have a good night. Hopefully some of you guys come see me at the next paint party. If you have any questions, just send me a comment or a message on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And again, I will have a link for the tracer. If you guys are interested in it, just send me a comment in the comments saying that you want the link. Just say link in the comments and I will send you a link so you can download your own free tracer. All right, guys, have a great evening. We'll see you at the next paint party.